I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I think might have been misleading, or I just didn't want to lead somebody into getting themselves into trouble. First of all, I'm not an instructor, I'm just an enthusiast, and my videos are probably worth about as much as you pay for them. So that being said, this is normally how I access the tree. I'll send up my climbing line with a quick link and ascend the tree SRT. On the tail of the climbing line, I generally will have the other end of the climbing line with the DDRT system already installed and the hitch tied. And when I send that up the tree, when I pull it up the tree, I will attach anything I don't want to rope walk up the tree. My other lanyards or water bottle or whatever I wanted to take up the tree without having to carry it up the tree. So that'll be up the tree when I get there. Once I get to my tie-in point, I can take off my DDRT system and I can pull myself to another place in the tree or work DDRT. On this side, I'll oftentimes leave it SRT, or I can switch it over to DDRT. So let's say I want to switch this over to a ring-to-ring friction saver and go DDRT. I take my ring-to-ring friction saver and put it over the tie-in point, feed it through the ring-to-ring friction saver, and attach it to my climbing system for DDRT. Take out the quick link, oops, just dropped my wrench, and take out the Alpine butterfly, and there is my DDRT system. Jammed up, but anyway, there's my DDRT system ready to go. Okay, so once I'm there, and I use my poison ivy, and this has got a long splice, it doesn't feed through, but so once I'm down and I want to ascend the tree, this is where the discussion comes in. When I want to send back up the tree, I'm not going to do that DDRT. So once I'm on the ground, I switch over and I tie an Alpine butterfly, and I'll send the Alpine butterfly up to the ring-to-ring friction saver. And it was suggested to capture the line, which makes sense, although it's a fairly short tail. What I would usually do if I had the tie-dye right there, I'd usually just feed the tie-dye into the carabiner bit by capturing that. Then I would just send that back up again with the other end of my climbing line tied on there, so that I always have a continuous loop, so that if I change my mind and I don't want to go up, it's easy to recover my climbing line. But at any rate, here's where the discussion is, and I've always felt that that was pretty secure, having an Alpine butterfly up against the small ring. I can't see any way that that would ever pull through, or that the Alpine butterfly would ever come untied, but the ring is not rated for that. The ring is rated for a straight down pull, so you're kind of using that in a manner that it's not rated for, so that would require some caution. After giving this some thought, and this leads into the pulleys, that is really the major discussion, but after giving it some thought, it seems quite practical to put a rigging plate in this configuration. Now this Powell rigging plate works really well for this because it's got the larger eye, and if you have a splice line, especially with a carabiner capture device on there, it makes it much easier to connect or to feed through that hole. And here's the configuration with the paw, and the larger hole is used for the splice. And here's my SRT line, and once I get there I can again take this out and go DDRT. And without a splice, the smaller hole seems to work very well for the alpine butterfly. And again, captured with the carabiner. And that looks, once that knot is dressed and set, it looks like that would be a completely acceptable configuration. I can't imagine any kind of a failure from the ring or the knot or anything else. Now another option to that would be to tie a bigger stopper knot, like an Ashley stopper knot, if you had other concerns or the hole was a little bigger. But I'm pretty comfortable with that alpine butterfly right there, and being able to go SRT and DDRT and switch it around. Here's a configuration using a pulley, and I was using the rig because I thought the frame was a little beefier, but when I measured it with a micrometer, it seems that the framework is exactly the same thickness. It's larger, but I don't know that it would actually be any stronger. So the pinto pulley seems to be just as well. And I was also thinking with the larger rig, there'd be a less of a tendency to have it pull through or bind with your carabiner. But I don't know that that's really much of an issue. A couple of issues that I see with the pulley is here the quick link is installed, this delta link, and it's nice because it keeps the ears of the pulley together. If you tied such a knot that it wanted to spread the pulley, that would be where your failure is. And the other nice thing about the pinto pulleys is they're very smooth and they're not going to bind your alpine butterfly or whatever you're going to put on there. Now again, carrying that one step safer after thinking about this, you could, if you really wanted the extra security, put on that rigging plate, and you could feel very secure about that configuration. Again, I don't, of course you would again put a carabiner in there and capture it, but look at how well that lays against the pulley. And again, now you can go up SRT, remove this, and do your work DDRT. But the nice thing about that paw is that it puts all the pressure flat against the pulley without wanting to spread the pulley at all. Alright, so that leads me to my real concerns and the reason that I wanted to do this little video. I think the becket is very important because that helps hold the pulley together. The ISC pulley also has a becket. It's not quite as rope friendly. It's not sharp edges, but it's not quite as rope friendly as the pinto pulley. But again, if you use the paw, that rope's not going to touch the sides of the pinto pulley or the this fixed pulley either. So this seems like a fairly acceptable pulley. Now here to me is another acceptable configuration, and the advantage of having the extra pulley on that friction saver is, well, less friction, but also I find when I'm trying to recover my SRT redirects, it makes it much easier to get that out of the crotch or out of the tree when I'm pulling those all back through. Okay, now this gets into the reason I'm doing this video, and it was my concern, and I did not want to lead somebody into something that could be unsafe. As much as I like the hitch climber pulley, if you look at the makeup of the hitch climber pulley, if you tie this off, and let's say you tied it off with your Alpine butterfly or whatever you used, there would be a tendency on this particular pulley, if the knot was to try to get pulled into the pulley, it could spread. And now that you don't have the becket underneath the pulley, all you have is the edges of these rivets to keep that pulley together. So that would be a real danger, and my concern is that somebody would set up a configuration such as this and not have that thought process. This is not a good configuration. The rope, the knot, whatever bind you're going to put on there may have a tendency to want to open the pulley and spread it. Now you could put the paw on there, and that would probably eliminate most of that, but why? Just get another pulley. That would be my concern right there. Again, if somebody had not thought this through, here's another pulley combination, a great pulley, except that once again, if a knot is trying to pull, if a knot is pulling through there, in spite of all of its ratings and everything else, the ratings are for directly getting pulled down on the pulley, but that would be real easy to spread that pulley, and there's not much on that rivet or on that pin right there that's holding those side plates onto the pulley. Okay, that was my concern and what I talked about, and I just wanted to make sure that I was clear, and I feel safe and confident in the configurations that I'm using, but I can see a real danger if somebody did not give proper considerations to the pulleys or the plate or whatever you wanted to use to make it safe.